the GEEK Files, 2026, March 13th, Friday the 13th. 88, winter, spring, 88. The working for White Horse Air Maintenance. So float planes. There's a dam on the White Horse Rapid, a hydro dam, and there's a small lake behind it. So small float planes can land and take off. And then when you do inspections, like a 50-hour inspection, you just drive down there and do it on the dock. So Dave and I are down at the dock doing an inspection, and I can't remember who was down, what company had just bought an otter on floats. And these guys had the otter nosed into the shore and tied off, and they're doing an engine change on the otter for some reason. And I looked at them and said, these guys were new to this sort of stuff. And I looked at them and said, you're going to put, flood the front float compartments. Why? I said, well, like the engine's a pretty heavy piece. When you take that off, the airplane will sit on its butt. Oh, no, you don't know what you're talking about. And I said, well, we used to take 45-gallon drums and put them on the floats and fill them up with water to make sure that they didn't sink tail down. So that the floats stayed above water. No, we don't need to do this. Oh, okay. And so the next day I'm down there with Dave, and there's the otter, and the airplane floats, their tail section is much smaller than the front part because that's how the buoyancy in the airplane works. The center section of the floats is a lot more volume because that's underneath it's supposed to be the center of gravity, center of mass. And the floats have flooded to the point where the tail of the otter is now sitting, the tail of the fuselage is sitting partially submerged. This thing has significantly sunk. Now, the floats are full of water, which makes it really hard to do anything with because water weighs. So now this thing is hard to move. It's taken overnight for the floats to fill up. So you just can't drag it up on the ramp. Number one, it's heavy. The floats are now full of, 10-pound a gallon water. But it's water. They're designed to have air in them and be supported in water. So all this water, all of a sudden, there creates a lot of stress in the floats and can do a lot of damage if you're not careful how you take it out. So it's not a big deal. You just have to pay attention to it, and it's it takes a lot of mental effort. So Dave and I are just laughing at this. And these guys are pissed because why are you laughing at us? You should be over here helping. And I just looked at them and said, told you yesterday, man, put weight on the front of the float so this thing's going to sink. And now here you are. I don't know how they got it out, but they did get it out. And yeah, it was okay. Nothing really bad happened because everything's on those airplanes old and the floats leak anyway. Anyway, yeah. So making appropriate decisions. You don't make any money, but boy, you get good stories.